Hello everyone, welcome to my hobby home. My name is Kathy. Today I'm doing something a little different. I'm hoping that I can get this all in one video, but I may have to break it up into several videos. So pay no attention to the mess back there. That's my craziness that goes on in crafting. I have to put everything on a calendar and I have to color code it with all these highlighters here. But I am going to show you what I have going on here. I don't know if you can see this, but that is what I'm trying to do. I have blocks 3, 4, 5, and 6 cut out. This will actually catch me up with my pressed flowers, so when I get my next Fat Quarter Shop Sew Sampler, I will be able to work the blocks as they come in and I won't be having to catch up. So that is what I'm doing today. I'm hoping to be able to catch it all up, but I'm not real sure. So just hang in there with me. We may get it all done in one video. We may not. I may have to break them up into several. Let's get to it though. So let's do this. I believe I have a setup here where we can see now. I'm going to show you this. This is block 3 of the Pressed Flowers Quilt Along. This is C, and we are going to take C and right sides facing together, we're going to put it on D, top left corner. It's going to make 4. So I believe I have 4 here. So we're going to do all 4. We will trim that off at 1/4 of an inch also. I hope you can see that. I'm trying to get that all even there because my fabric's wanting to curl up because I've had it cut out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sew with these long sleeves on today. It's not really cold. This is kind of a sheer sleeve, but it gets cold in my office at work. It gets really cold in my office at work, so I wanted to make sure I had a little something. I've been wearing a sweater every day this week at work because I've just gotten cold this week and I don't know why. It's not really cold. We're still in the 90s. And notice, as always, I'm going slow. I do not get in a hurry. No need to. Enjoy the process. And I will tell you, I am still in the process of learning this editing and all of that. I have not purchased any editing software yet. I've been using just what YouTube has and doing that. But I think I am going to have to purchase some editing software because I have yet to figure out how to speed up a video on that. I guess maybe I need to just take more time, but I'd rather be sewing, honestly. So I'm still, you know, if you realize my videos are always edited the same exact way, that's because that's the only way I know how. And I hope to be learning pretty soon. I've actually scheduled it on my calendar this weekend to try to do some, I don't know, classes on editing in YouTube. I don't know if they have one, but I know, you know, the YouTube Studio, I mean, you would think they would be able to do that. But I've got actually have to take the time. I've put it on my calendar for this weekend to learn how to edit, because I'm not an editor. I like to sew, but I don't like to edit. And I know some people are probably going to say, well, just pay somebody. I like buying fabric. That's an expense I don't want to have. I'd rather spend my money on fabric. So, okay, so we have these done. Now I have to trim them and press them, and I will bring you right back when that is done. We will now take the rest of these and put them on the right corner. And I'm going to do the same thing to these as I did the first set. So I will bring you back for the next step once I have these completed, trimmed, and pressed. These are completed. Try not to make too much rustling over here with the mic, but you'll see those are completed. Just going to put that up there. We are to take fabric E, fabric F, put them sides together, right sides together, like this. And we are to sew, we're to stitch 1/4 of an inch from each side of the drawn line. As I'm just putting the line on my 1/4 inch mark on my foot here. And let me get these two straight. Let me take them apart and make sure they're completely straight. Everything is matching up. This is a huge learning process for me because I've never done this. So if you are new at this, I may not be the person to watch. But I'm happy you're here. You may learn what not to do. Okay, so I'm going to trim these strings because I know experienced people don't do this, but I don't want these extra strings in my way to get caught up. And now I just turn it over, and I'm going to do it this direction here because I have to do the opposite side. And I just got in from work. Just literally just got in from work. And I had a few fabric packages coming in that I'm really excited about. Some flannels, and I'm going to be making Christmas blankets for my grandbabies. So I'm going to pull this closer to me because I don't want to be hitting my machine, and I'm cutting right down that line. You probably can't see it, but one day I'll figure out this camera angle stuff too. So I apologize to all of y'all that are suffering through this, but I appreciate you being here. I do enjoy sharing my quilting with y'all because sometimes, you know, we can chat about things, even though I know it's a one-sided chat. It might be quite boring for some of you. If it is, I'm sorry. This isn't for everyone. But hey, if you're going to do this, the pressed flowers quilt along, and you just kind of, because I I'm one of those that I watch videos about things before I try them out, just to see if there's something maybe that I need to avoid. And, you know, say the person making the block or, you know, whatever they're doing comes across something that's pretty difficult. And if I do, I will leave it in the video. I'm not going to edit it out, because I believe that is that's the whole reason I'm doing this, is to help people learn things. Not that I'm a pro at this. I mean, because I am learning this also. Why did that do that? My fabric kind of wrinkled up there, so I wanted to check that out. And see there, it wrinkled. So all I did, my needle is still down. I just raised my presser foot and turned the fabric so I could see what was going on there. And I will leave things like that in the video so you can see it. You know, this is, I am not a pro. This is trial and error. I promise you, I make errors. Some of them are in a previous video, and some of you caught it, and I completely put a block together all crazy, all wrong. So it just goes to show, you know, that quilting ain't always perfect, which is okay, because those little imperfections is what makes your quilt yours. So what I'm going to do is I am going to press these out. So I have, I don't know if I need, yeah, so I have my 4 squares. That's what I needed. So I'll bring you right back as soon as we're pressed. Now I have gone on and trimmed these up to make sure they are the correct size. I'm not sharing the sizes because this is a paid for pattern. It is not mine to give that information out. So the next thing we are going to be doing is, I'm sorry y'all, I just hit my mic with my little thing there, my rotary blade. We are going to make a pinwheel out of these blocks. I'll lay it up here so you can see it a lot easier. The pinwheel is going to look like this. I will sew these two together first, and then these two, and then I'll sew them together. So I'm moving this down. Now, of course, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that these match up and look really nice together. And the seams actually will, oops, I better make sure I've got them right. Okay, yes, it's these two. These seams will actually nest because they are pressed opposite one another. I'm about to have to change out my bobbin, but that will be okay because I can pause you. And even with all this pausing, I'm still at 20 minutes. So I'm going to have to edit this down pretty good if I'm going to have all of the blocks in it. I want to go back a stitch there. Okay. We have this block, this square, now rectangle done. I'm afraid that just ate up my corners though. Yeah, they still look good. So I'm going to do the next one, and I will have to press these out, so I will pause it while I press them out and make sure I'm going right, because I will easily swap these up and mess it up. See, here I go. I've already forgotten that fast. Right side, left side, together side. right here. You've always heard that saying, measure twice, cut once. Well, position twice, so you don't have to take it apart and redo it. And I try to do a scant 1/4 of an inch also, because your points and all just go so much better if you're on a scant 1/4. There's our top. And make sure this is our bottom. I'm going to press these and bring you right back. I have these two pressed, so now it's the truth of the matter. Is this going to match up or not? Now these seams do nest right here, so I've got my seams nested. I have to come up here and get that corner to go good. And yeah, I'm going to tell you, when your pattern tells you this should measure a certain size, make sure to trim it if it's not that size. That makes a whole world of difference. I'm hoping that, let me go back a stitch. I'm hoping that my points are good. Hoping that my points are good. Like I said, I'm still new to this, so they're not always real good. Ooh, my little kitty cat's over here in our, what we call the tower. Scared me. She decided to wake up from her nap. For some reason, I'm terrified that, don't walk on my sewing machine. You see her go run. She knows this sewing machine is a no-no. I'm just double checking that seam there to make sure it is netted. I'm going to keep my finger on it, so. Okay, the truth shall be revealed. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm got it right. This is the top. This is the bottom. Y'all, look at that. Let me press this. Okay, it look, I don't know. It looks pretty good to me. Look at that. I'll let that camera focus there real good on it. That looks pretty good, y'all. Nice pretty pinwheel there. So we make one of these. Our back, we are going to put right sides together. And the diagonal is going from left to right. On the top part anyway. I haven't looked at the bottom to see what's supposed to happen there yet, because I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I'll do one step at a time and worry about the next one when it gets here. Oh, I know my bobbin is getting close, getting close. Yes, I like to use every last bit of it before I change it out. You can tell when these little strings that's left back here are just curlier than a pigtail. Okay. When I backed up that one stitch, it went just a little too far. And my fabric decided to curl up just a little bit there. Whoop. Still curled up there. Oh goodness, no, I'm way off. I got to take that out anyway. It's probably way off because that fabric curled up, and I was more interested in fixing that than watching where I was sewing. So I'm just going to get on that little seam right there and just pull it out, and let's get back to it. I think the hardest part for me doing these diagonals, especially with this piece, because it's longer than my tray here. Make sure I'm on that line. I'm not going to back stitch it. I'm just going to stitch on the line. Or try to anyway. Now I know some people that sew that you see on YouTube, they're absolutely amazing and can do this without drawing their line, but that's not me. That's not me. I'm still a learning. So don't be afraid to draw your line. Draw your line. These pins that I use, I think they're called friction pins. They work great. They do come out. I press with steam. I know a lot of people are probably just shrieked thinking that I press with steam, but I do. To me, it just makes a crisper seam. And I know people say it shrinks your fabric and all that. Well, if it's shrinking one of them, it's shrinking all of them. So they're all going to shrink at the same time anyway. So I'm not real, I press all of my seams. So I'm not really worried about that. I may in the future, but as of right now, it has not hurt me. So, and I'm going to just tell you guys on that pinwheel, I think I might have just ran out of bobbin. But on that pinwheel, I dare say these points are pretty spot on. I mean, they're pretty perfect. Well, except that one ain't. See, nothing's perfect, but they're pretty close. Both of those are dropped down a little bit. Huh. It's okay though. Nobody will know it. No one will be the wiser. Because I'm not going to tell them when they're sitting there looking at it, are you? I hope not. So now we've got that done, and nope, my bobbin is still there. So now we have to do the bottom. And the bottom has the diagonal going from right to left. So I am going to match up my corners and all here. Now see, even though I'm rubbing this fabric, that line is still staying there. It's not going away. I mean, it will go away when you press it. Press that seam with if you steam press it like I do, it goes away. Okay, I'm probably going to have to do it from this end because it wasn't wanting to move for me. Okay, that works. Keep forgetting what I'm doing here. I'm stitching on the line, I'm not stitching 1/4 of an inch beside the line. I'll speed it up just a little bit for you. It's not necessary to me that I have to speed up, because the faster I go, the more apt I am to make a mistake. I don't want to make a mistake. I want my quilt to be pretty. And this is going to be my quilt. I may actually put some borders on this and do some real pretty stitching on it. Have my long arm. I may have her do my backing for me. Actually, I know I'm going to have her do the backing for me. Because I'm not going to attempt. I want to make it big enough that it will fit on top of my bed, not necessarily as a bedspread, but that I can lay it across my bed. If I want to lay down and take a nap, I can lay under it. That's what I want. But who knows? I don't ever get to take a nap. You would think, as old as I am, and I have no kids at home now, you would think I would have all the time in the world to take a nap. But I have less time now than I did when my kids were home. And they would tell you it's because they did chores. And I don't have anybody here to do chores, but I don't have anybody here to mess it up either. But me, I do mess it up. I'm not going to lie. Because I'd rather be sewing. So when I eat, I may put my plate in the sink. But I get to it eventually. Okay, so now I have to trim these ends. I'm trimming here and trimming here. So both of, it's going to open this way. I don't know if you can see that real well, but I'll bring you back as soon as I'm finished trimming and pressing. Now it's time to assemble the block. This is what each of those look like. So to assemble the block, we take an A square. And I'm only going to do one row at a time for you, like from left to right. So we take an A square. We take the square with the two corners there. Then we take another A square. So I am going to sew these two together first. And I kind of messed up with that little corner thing there, so I'm just going to hold this pretty good. Get that under the needle first. Now look at that. I think that just kind of slipped off. I think it'll be okay. And the next thing we do is put the other square here, the other A. Now being that my seam is going down, I'm just going to turn it upside down or turn it over so I can keep that seam on the top where I can watch it and make sure that it's not flipping under. that is our top row. So for our second row, we use one of these with the 2 corners, but it's going to turn that direction. Then we use our pinwheel. I'm making sure it is in the correct placement there. And then we use another of these with the 2 white corners. Now, this is the one that scares me. I'm going to just flip that over and sew these together. Okay, I see my seams on my pinwheel is going down. Okay, and I'm still sitting here trying to get this evened out. Let me make sure. I feel like I'm in the wrong direction maybe. Oh, it's not directional. Okay, well let me okay, and here we go. We are going to see what this is going to look like. Now, I am coming up on a seam that is turned upwards, so I'm going to hold it down just with my little scissors until it gets under that foot. Okay. Make sure we're good here. I feel like I'm going to lose my points on the edge here. I just feel like that. Oh goodness gracious, that corkscrewed everywhere. You can't really tell though. Whew. So we've got to put this other square here. Make sure you can see that. This is one of those areas where it once again is going to be, the truth will be told. We're going to see how well my trimming and sizing it has done. I did not size these the long ones. Really need to do that before I put them together. Trimming up the okay, so this is what it looks like with these two so far. Now I'm going to move these out of the way because I have one of these blocks left and 2 of these left. So of course we're going to be putting these together. And these little corner pieces are always so hard where you have to do them on the diagonal. I can't seem to ever get those right. I try, but I'm telling you, those... I know it's going to take a lot more practice for me, just put it like that. But I can say with this pattern, I am getting a lot of practice with them because So far, every block has had them in it. Oh goodness, something caught, something caught. Oops. I think my bobbin finally gave it up. Yep, my bobbin did. I'll bring y'all right back. Well guys, funny thing just happened. My camera died. So, now I can get back to this. So, I'm only going to get the one block done tonight because it is, let me see. It's already 8:30 at night. So, I'm not going to start the new one, a new block. So, let me see. We've got the first two done. We're on the last block. So, we've got our outside block. And something happened. Oh, I know what it was. I ran out of bobbin. Okay. I'm sitting here trying to figure out why my... Whew, sorry about that, guys. But let me just get this on the machine because we are actually almost done with this block. And this is actually coming out. Today is September 28th. And I want to wish my aunt and uncle, my Aunt Betty and Uncle Wayne, a happy 57th anniversary, I believe it is. I did not get to see them today. But I did see they got to go to our local ice cream parlor and got to enjoy a banana split together. But you know, every now and then you need a little treat. Okay. Oh, well, I kind of did that backwards because these little triangles are supposed to go to the bottom, not the top. But that's okay. I can do the other side here. Or maybe I have it. Nope, that's right. But it is a-okay. Lining this up here. Had to get my iron heating back up. It's an automatic shut off. So when my camera died, or my phone, I record on my phone, so when it died, I went into the other room because I wanted to finish the block with you guys. And my iron is automatic shut off. So, okay. So we have that block now. I'm going to press all three of my rows out and bring y'all right back. Now we are going to put our top row and our middle row together. Just going to fold this down over it. I'm going to trim up any strings that I have because I don't want anything in the way here. Now our seams do nest. So I will nest that seam there. I may even pin that because I have two seams that nest. So I think I'm going to go on and pin that. So it stays together, and then I can get down here to the other seam that nests right here. And this way I know my nested seams are not moving, that they are there. And I think what I'm going to do is because this first one here is a little short. But so I think what I'm going to do is turn this upside down and sew this from the back side of it. Which means I do have a seam that goes upwards here. So I have to make sure that stays going upwards. And then when I get to this nested seam, I have to make sure that flap stays also. And I'm getting my finger there where I can go in and pull that pin out. And I don't think there's any other seams on the other side. I don't believe there is, but that doesn't mean there's not. I may take this apart and turn it over, and it might have been another seam that I got all wonky. But nothing that I can't take apart if necessary and redo. Let me see what that looks like. It met up real nicely. So now I have to put on the bottom piece. I'm just going to put it on here and turn it. And then I've got to nest these seams right here. And I'm going to pin these seams also. Oh, that's a bad mess up. I don't know if I can catch that in there. No, that ain't. I may just have to go up a little bit and not do a scant. We're just going to see how much we can catch here. It's not going to be perfect, but it's my quilt. It don't matter if it's perfect or not. It's going to be beautiful anyway, irregardless of if I have a seam here or there that's off. It's still going to be something that I devoted time to. And in the end, it's going to be beautiful. It does not matter. And I have I actually have a quilt that I have to finish this weekend. So I'm just trying to catch up on these because on the pressed flowers blocks. Okay. I'm going to go on and press this because the next thing we're going to be adding these long straight pieces. So I want this to be nice and pressed, and I'm going to trim up any loose ends I have. I'm finished with the press, so this is what we have. I trimmed some of the strings. I think I've got the majority of them out of the way. And y'all, I'm sorry if my sound is going in and out. It's because my mic is to the right of me and my camera is to the left of me. So I'm turning my head towards the camera, not thinking about it. So the next step we're going to do is I'm going to sew this long strip to the right side. And I'm going to do it where the white corners are on the outside. I'm going to try to match this up and see if this is going to, it seems to meet up pretty closely. Get my string out of the way here. I'm just going to put this under the needle and drop that needle and do me a couple back stitches there. And then I will make sure it's even. That don't even look like that was even. We are going to just, I know my hand is in the way, but I'm trying to hold the two edges of this fabric because it is a long piece of fabric here, and they have a tendency of getting off kiltered. So I am just trying to avoid that the best I can. And trying to keep that scant 1/4 of an inch too. Making sure that seam is going the correct direction. Okay, now the next thing that we will be doing, I am going to attach this square to this piece right here on the end. It's going to be on the right end because I'm going to attach this piece to the bottom of the block I just completed. And I need this piece put together. I could have attached it to the side piece, or I can attach it to this piece. Okay, let me press this real quick. And we are now going to attach this to the bottom here. I'm making sure my direction is correct. And I see I do need to trim some little hanging strings out right here. Okay, now I do have a seam here that's nesting. That's the only nested seam that I have. And those nested seams are very, very important to your block having nice, you know, really nice points. And I'm just going to go on and sew up to the pin there. Get to that pin. Pull it out. Now I have to make sure the other seams are going in the proper direction too. Because if not, that can create, you know, a bump in the quilt. Okay. Had to lay that seam down because it was going the opposite direction and it needed to be going. my goodness. I thought I was sewing and apparently my thread broke. That's upsetting. That happened, because now I'm going to have to come all the way back to where I was. Oh, and it did that right in that seam too. I wonder if that seam had something to do with that. Now what I do when that happens, I back up a little bit, maybe even as much as an inch from where I was sewing, just so if it ever unravels, it's got, you know, back up there, kind of, you know, protection. Now I'm going to trim up these. I'll bring you back once I've got it trimmed and pressed out. Well, yeah, we have got block 3 in the books. That is what block 3 is looking like. I've got it trimmed up, got the strings off of it. It's looking good, looking good. So guys, if you like this type of video, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you like this type of video, feel free to subscribe and click on that notification bell, and anytime I upload new content, you'll receive a notification. And leave a comment. I love receiving the comments. I answer each and every one of them. And as always, until I see you again, have a very blessed day. Goodbye.